Welcome back to the Women's Playbook. This is the #ActuallyICan series about changing the game. So this is a place where we're going to get really honest about old patriarchal rules of business that really just don't apply to us. The ones we inherited, the ones we've been told that this is the way it's always been done, and then we burn them down together. If you've been following along, you know that this is a 12-week series, and each week I'm going to tackle one of those tired old rules and replace it with a new one. Something designed for us, something sustainable, something human, something feminine. Pardon my voice. I have had a crazy few weeks. I got poison ivy. I've been on prednisone. We are trying to sell our house. I now have a cold. So this is actually a perfect segue into what we're talking about today, which is the grind or die rule. And today's rule is one of those that has deep claws in so many of us. And to be honest, it's one I clung to for far too long and still struggle with quite a bit. And you've heard it. Hustle harder, sleep when you're dead. Success is just one more late night away. And we are totally praised for it. We're rewarded for it, and it's baked into our identities in ways we don't even realize. And yet, it's one of the most dangerous and damaging rules out there for women business owners. So in this episode, I'm going to tell you my story with the grind, why it doesn't work, especially for women, and what we can do to replace it instead. Spoiler, it has nothing to do with hustling harder. It has everything to do with honoring the fact that we are not machines, we are human. Welcome back, friends. This is #ActuallyICan. I'm Katie Ripp, and this is season 2. Last season, we talked about everything and to everyone, about all the ways we're trying to build life and business on our own terms. This season, we're diving a little bit deeper into the women's playbook. We're talking about those old rules we were handed. We're going to toss them out and write new ones that actually work for us. We're talking about quitting the grind, claiming our worth, celebrating wins that actually matter, and leaning into community instead of competition. Around here, we believe that the best businesses, and lives for that matter, aren't built alone. So grab your coffee, pull up a chair, and let's go. Okay, so let's start with my story. I have always been the worker. And actually, my best friend from kindergarten has called me a worker all my life. She's like, well, you're just a worker. Since I was a teenager, my work ethic was the thing that people noticed first about me. And I think that there's something really great about the way my parents parented us, that we were workers. Like, we got up on Saturday mornings and picked rocks in the fields, and we were told that we had to get jobs right away when we were 15. And we were praised for the harder we worked, the more we were appreciated at home. And I don't know that there's anything wrong with that, except when it starts to affect the rest of your life, especially your adult life. And my work ethic was so tied to my character that I couldn't even see where one ended and the other one began. And I wore it like a badge, like Katie's the hardest worker. Katie can handle it. Katie always shows up. Katie's a yes girl. And all of those things, again, in and of themselves, are not necessarily a bad trait. It's just when it starts to affect the rest of your life. And for me, when someone questioned it, when I felt like someone was challenging it, it was such a criticism and such an insult that I couldn't see past the actual feedback. And I'll never forget one particular day when someone made an offhand comment that I wasn't pulling my weight. And I can still feel the heat in my chest, the way my ears rang, the way my eyes watered. I thought, don't you dare question the one thing I know about myself to be true, that I will outwork anyone in the room. In my 20s, that identity totally ruled me. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3. And when I could have stayed home, I didn't. I found a part-time job and basically just handed my paycheck over to daycare. And at the time, I thought it was noble or responsible. I thought I proved something about me. Now, with some distance, I can say it was actually not the right decision for our family. And honestly, it was kind of sad. And of course, when I started my businesses, I brought that same grind mentality with me. The late nights, the answering emails at midnight, the skipping meals, drinking way more wine than I should have just to take the edge off. I was totally ignoring my family's needs because, well, this business was more important. We had to make sure that the lights were on and the people were doing what they were supposed to be doing. And basically, I was micromanaging every single piece of the businesses. And I convinced myself that burning myself down was just like part of the package. Like, that's what entrepreneurs do. That's what I was taught. That's what you hear all the time by all of the gurus out there. Like, oh, you better be burning the midnight oil. You better be up until 2 a.m. doing all the things for all the people all the time. But here's the secret that really no one told me. The magical place I thought I was running towards, the place where it could finally feel easier and get easier, where the grind would actually pay off, that place just really never came. It was just more grind around the corner. So instead, I woke up one day realizing that my business completely owned me and I had just bought myself a job, not the other way around. And I've looked around and see so many women nodding along saying, same. Is this what I was promised? Where is the freedom and flexibility? Where are all of the perks of having an entrepreneurial life? Where are all the big bank accounts and all of these freedoms and things that I can do outside of work when really it's just more work? Okay, so let's talk about why this rule doesn't work, this rise and grind rule. The grind culture we've inherited was really never meant for us. It was designed decades ago for a very specific kind of person. A man in a gray suit who had wives at home, managing every single detail of their life. Yes, that's what it was created for. Those people could grind because they had someone else making dinner at home and folding laundry and calling the dentist and signing permission slips and shopping for groceries and organizing birthday parties and somehow keeping the dog alive. But that's not our reality. We are running businesses and running households. We're juggling orthodontist appointments and staff meetings and soccer practice and haircuts, grocery lists, partner support, client calls, home maintenance. We're the calendar keepers, the emotional glue, the crisis managers, the planners, the everything. And let's be really honest here. Most of us don't just need one wife. We need 2 or 3. Here's the kicker. Even if you don't have kids, even if you don't have a partner, even if you live alone, you still know the weight of the invisible labor. Running your home, keeping your friendships alive, being the one who remembers birthdays, maintaining your own health and well-being. It really all adds up, and the grind doesn't leave room for it. But beyond that, grind culture isn't even a good business strategy. Exhaustion leads to bad decisions. Fatigue makes you sloppy. And I think consciously we all know this, that burnout isn't just an emotional state. It's a full body collapse that can take months or even years to recover from. And the cost of that recovery is far higher than the cost of slowing down in the first place. Take my cold, for example. We have been burning the candle at both ends. I know this right now. And this is a season. I don't do this all the time. But I know my body and I know when we have been pushing too hard, this is when I get colds. This is when I have to be on prednisone for poison ivy. This is when I don't sleep well or I'm looking for food at the wrong times of the day. And outside of the physical ramifications of this, the grind robs us of the joy in what we've actually built. So you can have the business and the clients and the opportunities and still feel resentful because you're just too fucking tired to enjoy any of it. And that's not winning. That's not success. That's not what business ownership is meant to be. That's a slow leak, draining every drop of energy and creativity and connection you have. And for what? To prove to a system that you can survive inside a set of rules that were never designed for you anyway? Let's rethink this. Okay, Katie, so what do we do instead if you've got all these grandiose ideas? Yes, I do. Here we go.
Welcome to The Grove. This is where women like us grow together. This is not just another Facebook group or course you'll never finish. The Grove is a business and life community for women who are done trying to do it alone. Inside The Grove, you're going to find weekly Female Founders Collective meetups, which are always free, study hall co-working sessions to actually get those things done, money monthly meetings and workshops with guest experts, and a private community that feels like a built-in support squad. This is where strategy meets soul, where you can talk about invoices and imposter syndrome in the same breath, where you'll be seen and heard and cheered on every step of the way. If you've been waiting for a sign to plug into a community that actually gets it, this is it. Join the Grove today and start building your business and your life in alignment.
Here's the rewritten rule. Let's work in cycles, not in sprints. All humans are cyclical. We have moon phases and seasons of the year, and of course our menstrual cycles. We're not machines. Our energy rises and falls in patterns like nature. It's true by the hour, by the day, by the week, by the month, and even by the year. So let me break it down for you. In an hour, most of us can focus deeply for about 45 to 90 minutes. And depending on how old you are, and if you've ever been diagnosed with any kind of executive functioning challenges or ADHD, 45 minutes to 90 minutes sounds like a lifetime. But that's it. After that, your brain starts to fade. So instead of chaining yourself to a desk for 4 hours straight, push hard for that hour or 45 minutes, let's say. Then stand up, get some water, stretch, reset. That's not laziness. That's respecting how your brain and your body actually works. So sitting down and setting a timer sometimes for 10 minutes or 20 minutes to get something done, really be focused, then remove yourself, walk around a little bit, look for something else to do, and then go back at it. That might be a better option than trying to grind for 8 hours straight. Think about your natural rhythms in a day. Maybe mornings are when you're the sharpest. Save that time for your most creative or strategic work, maybe not answering emails. Use the afternoons for those admin tasks or the lighter stuff. And evenings, that can be a season of rest, so close the laptop, put away your phone. Stop pretending like you're going to get your best work done at 9 o'clock because that's when the household is quiet. And that's the only time you have. But your body is actually begging you to wind down. This piece, this daytime schedule, was really one of the things that changed everything for me. When I started to look at my rhythms and how I actually function during a 24-hour period, it changed everything. I had been in a 9-to-5 mindset, just like most of us. Since we were in kindergarten, we've been sort of on this school schedule of like 7:30 to 4. And then if you have kids, you've got, 7:30 to 4:30. And it is a 8 or 9 hour day that you're expected to get up, get out of the house, do all the things for 8 hours, then come home and wind down. For me, I realized that I am an early riser. So I'm usually up between 5 and 5:30, and that is my most creative time. So I get on my computer almost right away. I grab a cup of coffee and I get on my computer and I do the things that need my attention, but also bring me a little bit of joy because that's how I start my mornings. It's quiet. I love my coffee by my computer. I check a lot of boxes in the mornings. Then I do a little bit of personal time with the kids. I get them off to school, and then I get my own me time. I take time to eat a good breakfast most days. I'm not perfect. Take a walk or do some yoga. Maybe I sit in the sauna, but I give myself at least an hour or an hour and a half to sort of take care of whatever needs to be done. Chores around the house, that sort of thing. It also helps me start my day. Then I have about a 3-hour window from 9 until noon that I really get stuff done. That's when I'm meeting with clients, or I'm helping out at the coffee shop, or I'm having meetings, whatever it is. But I hit a wall around 1 o'clock. Do not talk to me between basically 1 and 3:30. I am laying flat on my bed. I'm reading a book. I'm watching Netflix. I am doing something that requires very little energy from me. Lots of times I nap almost every day, probably 4 or 5 days out of 7. I'm napping between 1 and 3. That's just who I am. I get up early in the morning. I take a nap in the afternoon. Then I do that sort of personal stuff in the afternoon too. I'm picking up kids. We're doing some sort of dinner. We're, chatting with each other, whatever. But after dinner, I used to, be guzzling wine all night. But now that I don't, I have another little spurt of creativity and energy in the evenings between like 6 and 8. And depending on the time of year, around 7:30, I'm in bed in the winter, but I can be up until about 10 or 10:30 in the summers. So I usually get another big burst of creativity in the late evening. So I can start and get another project done, or I can catch up on emails or be creative in some sort of graphic way or create a course or some sort of digital download, or I'm talking to people in the Grove, whatever the case may be. I like to sit in front of my computer and get some work done in the late evening. And then I go to bed, usually by 8:30 or 9 o'clock. So it took me years to get to that place where I didn't feel guilty for laying down between 1 and 3. But I just honored my body. That is just how my body works. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Nobody's watching my clock. Nobody's watching me. Funny story. When I was transitioning into self-employment, I would take a nap in the afternoon. And my husband works outside the home. He's also self-employed. So sometimes he would come home. And if I heard the door open, I would fly out of bed and act like I was doing something. Like I would come out of the bathroom like I was cleaning the bathroom, or I would turn off the TV right away, or I would look like I was doing something. It was so ridiculous. First of all, he's not my fucking dad. He's my husband. But that's like the anxiety I had around, oh my God, he's going to think I'm lazy if I'm not doing something, if I'm not being productive. And he busted me more times than that. And one day he came up the stairs and he knew I had just he sort of did it on purpose. He ran up the stairs super quick and busted me getting out of bed and turning off the TV. And he was like, Katie, he said, I don't care if you nap in the afternoon. He was like, I think it's hilarious that you are trying to look like you're busy. I don't care. He was like, you're working. I don't care what hours you work. I'm not your boss. He was like, stop. Just stop trying to do that. So he did give me permission. It still took quite a bit of time after that, but it was sort of an eye opener. He's not my boss. He's not my dad. He's my husband. And I don't need to feel guilty for setting that boundary with myself and taking care of myself and using my time the most efficient way possible, which is matching with my energy levels. So if you've ever felt like that, you've ever oh my God, my husband's home, I feel like I need to get out of bed and I'm a lazy piece of shit, just know I'm with you. I've been there. Okay, let's go back to another rhythm. How about in a week? So not every day needs to be full throttle either. There's just no way that every single day is the same. We have 5 days of work, 2 days of weekend. If you're, in the corporate world, that's sort of what it used to be. I don't know that those 5 days actually are a real thing anymore. It feels like we are so far beyond any kind of boundaries of time that people are just they're calling you on Sunday. They're, emailing you on Saturday morning or texting you on Friday night. But in general, you could stack client calls on 2 days, but protect another day for deep creative work. Maybe Fridays are lighter. Fridays are sort of the favorite day for everyone. Monday is my favorite day, and Monday is my self-care day. So Monday is my day that I come off the weekend and I block the entire day to myself. I don't take any appointments. Very rarely do I take appointments. I have my schedule blocked so nobody can schedule anything in. I am usually cleaning up from the weekend. I am answering emails, doing some admin stuff, maybe creating something. So Mondays can be my creative days. I'm usually trying to take care of myself, getting outside at least for a little bit, and really taking that day for myself and to ramp up for the rest of the week. But maybe that's Friday for you, or maybe it's hump day. Maybe Wednesdays are the days that you don't take any appointments. And then on the other days, maybe on Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are your appointment days and you stack all those together. The other thing is you could do this in a day in a week, right? So maybe Tuesday mornings and Thursday afternoons, you take appointments, or you start blocking off all of Monday, but you do extra appointments on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm thinking if you're a salon owner or you're a hairdresser or, a therapist or a counselor, you add another hour on a couple more days so you can have 4 hours on Monday to take off a whole half day. Those things can be done. You don't have to follow anybody else's rules. This is really about giving yourself permission to have a different schedule than the masses. So give yourself weekly cycles so you're not running at the same pace every single day. Now, in a month, some weeks will naturally be heavier. you have launches or deadlines or events or holidays coming up, or, every month is a little bit different for sure. But balance them with lighter weeks before or after. Also, pay attention to your cycle. If you're not familiar with your menstrual cycle and what weeks you're in compared to the weeks of the month and what events you're planning around those things, or meetings or big conflicts or big launches or something like that, start paying attention to your menstrual cycle. Do a little bit of research. We're going to do another series about cycle syncing coming up, and I'm really excited. I've got some professionals that are going to help me with that. But don't expect yourself to sprint every single week of the month. That is literally how burnout happens, and we just go from month to month to month. And in a year, nature already knows how to do this super well. Like bears hibernate. Plants don't bloom year-round. The ocean tides shift. We are no different. We are natural beings. So for me, spring and summer tend to feel super expansive. I want to launch and create and connect. And then fall and winter feel a lot slower, more reflective. And I totally lean into that. And you can too. Here's your permission slip. When you stop expecting yourself to be at peak productivity 365 days a year, you start working in a way that's actually sustainable. And here's the crazy part. You often get way more done in less time because you're working with your natural rhythm instead of trying to bulldoze over it. So here's my challenge to you this week. Shake up your 24 hours. Instead of your day running on total autopilot, emails first, calls in the afternoon, collapsing at night, flip the script. Do something different. When you'd normally sit down to clear your inbox first thing in the morning, try starting with something creative instead. Write or brainstorm or dream or create a reel or do something fun. If you've got a list of hanging chads, those tiny 10-minute tasks that weigh on you, set a timer and clear one off the list. In the middle of the day, give yourself permission to take a nap if that's how you feel, or take a walk or read a book that inspires you. The point is this: business ownership is not supposed to be work, work, work. It's what we've been told, it's what we believe, but it's not the truth. The whole reason we choose this path is for freedom and flexibility. But that freedom and flexibility does not happen by accident. It actually takes effort, and they take intention. So shake up your 24 hours this week. Try one new way of working or resting and notice how it shifts your energy, your creativity, and your focus. The grind or die rule was never meant for us. It's not sustainable. It's actually not smart. And it's not the only way to succeed. The new rule is this: work in cycles, not in sprints. If this episode hit home at all, you can go read the full blog post. I'll link it in the show notes. And share this episode with a friend who's still wearing the grind like a badge. She needs to hear it, I promise. And she's probably going to get defensive. It's okay. And if you want every new rule delivered straight to your inbox, you can join the email list for this series. You'll get all the behind the scenes as I turn this series into a book too. Thanks for being here, you guys. I'll see you next week with another old rule we're about to rewrite.
That's it for today's episode of #ActuallyICan. If something in this conversation hit home today, send it to a friend who's writing her own playbook too. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's next. And if you want a community where these conversations turn into actual support, come hang out with us in the Grove. The link's in the show notes. Until next time, keep rewriting those rules, keep celebrating your wins, and keep reminding yourself, actually, you can.